Welcome back to one of my videos. I hope you're having an amazing day. This is a video on how to sign your first client using AI. I've done it and I've signed over 11 clients doing it. And if you know me or watch the last video, you also know that it took me 6 months to sign my first client. So if I would have had this information and the knowledge, which I'm going to share with you guys for free, it would have sped up the process 10 times. And it would have taken me 10 times less time to actually sign my first client. So this video is extremely valuable, and I promise you, if you watch to the end, you're going to have a crystal clear understanding of how to use AI to automate your outreach and book more meetings than you know what to do with. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that briefly describe how to use AI to sign clients, but none of them have actually gone into the depth which I'm about to go into in this video. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I'm literally going to walk you through me sending outreach on Instagram and show you how it actually works and how powerful it is. I've literally used this exact software to book over 500 meetings and for me to sign over 11 high ticket clients. All I ask in return is if you do find this video valuable or helpful, just leave a like and subscribe. That's literally it. And yeah, let's get into it. So let me make myself smaller and slide myself over. So outreach for cold Instagram and Facebook DMs. In my opinion, this is the most effective strategy for booking meetings as a beginner. A lot of people, a lot of gurus will tell you, no, cold calling's the best, cold email is the best. Cold emails are better than cold calling, but the problem I have with cold calling is that if you're a beginner with no sales knowledge, it's hard. You're probably going to be nervous, it's going to be scary, and I'm not one for avoiding pain. I think you should do the most painful thing, but in terms of efficiency, I just don't think it's efficient for you to pick up a phone having never done a cold call before and spend 6 months trying to do cold calls. It just isn't the best strategy. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, even cold email are much better. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to automate that whole process so you never actually have to send an outreach again. So in order to sign clients, we need to book meetings. And in order to book meetings, we need to send messages or do some type of outreach. The industry states, or the industry average states, that for every 1 to 2,000 outreach, you sign a client. I think the actual stat is just what for every 1,000, cold emails, cold calls, cold messages you send, you'll probably sign a client. But I've said 1 to 2K to put a bit of leeway in between, so you don't come attacking me in the comment section or Instagram after you send 1,000 messages and don't sign a client. So 1 to 2K will probably get you a client. And in this video, I'm literally going to show you how you don't even have to send the 1 to 2,000 messages. It's just going to be fully automated. Absolutely crazy that we live in a time where we can do this. Hopefully I'm not blocking anything. So inputs versus outputs. This may look confusing, and if you don't know what I'm trying to get at here, it's okay, I'll explain now. So inputs is anything you put into a business, and automatically everything you put in will get a result. So if you send one message on Instagram, you'll get an output. By the way, an output could be negative. It could be no meetings. Or let's say an input is you booking a meeting for a sales call, and then the output is not closing a deal. Anyway, you're going to get feedback in metrics. So this is why you need to track your metrics. KPIs, metrics, all the same thing. You have to track it. And the way I describe it is that for a beginner, I get asked a lot like, why am I not able to book meetings, or why am I not able to sign clients? And I ask them for their data, and 99% of beginners don't have it. And that's probably why they fail in the first place, because they don't have any data. And if you know anything about businesses, all decisions should be made on data and not emotion. And the way I look at it is that tracking your outreach is like having a torch in a dark room. You're able to put a spotlight and shine your torch on the sort of parts that are going wrong in your business, the bottlenecks. Whereas if you don't track anything, it's like just being pitch black in a dark room and trying to figure out a solution or trying to figure your way out of the room. It's not going to happen. You need to track stuff so you can see where you're going wrong. That's just a little rant of why it's important to track outreach. But this is a quote you need to know by Newton. What a guy, what a legend. So for every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. So if you could, that's like a. So for let's just say for outreach. So for every outreach you send, there's going to be an equal or opposite reaction to that outreach. It could be meetings, it could not be meetings. I don't know. But hopefully this video is just going to increase the actual input by 10x. I'll actually go over how much it is going to increase the input in a second, but the best part is that I found a way to automate sending cold messages, and it's completely free. So I'm not going to get you to pay $100 a month to some dodgy software. This is completely free. And what this really means, and the reason this is so powerful, not because it's free, but it's because we can send infinite amount of outreach without having to use any more energy or joules in the day. Especially when you start signing or like getting meetings or signing clients, you cannot afford to be spending all day sending outreaches, cold emails, cold calling. Like, it just can't happen. It's not the most, yes, it's extremely important, and as a beginner, all you should be doing is appointment setting and closing deals, but you can't just be sitting all day at your laptop sending messages, especially when we live in 2023 and we can automate it like what I'm going to show you in this video. So a few things before we actually get into it, and before I actually do a live walkthrough of this software and how it works, you need a few things. You need multiple Instagram accounts. I recommend at least 2. The reason being is that Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, they have sort of a cap at about 60 messages, and I wouldn't want your accounts to get banned. So that's why we create multiple accounts, and by doing that, I also recommend you send 120 messages per day using this automation software. So 2 accounts, I don't care if it's Instagram or Facebook accounts, just have a few and maybe have a third one in case one of them goes down. From that, let's move over to this. Now, this may look like, you're probably like, holy shit, what is all this on my screen? It's okay, I'm going to explain everything. But first, let's go up here. This is how you build a system, basically. And I'm going to show you how to increase the input. So we're going to be using Merger or Jitbit. I'll go over exactly once again. I understand you're walking into this quite blindly, but everything will be crystal clear by the end of the video, and you'll have a proven and tested way of sending outreaches and booking meetings by the end of the video. So don't worry, we'll get there. But first, 120 Instagram messages or DMs. I'm just using Instagram as an example, but this could be cold calls, emails, anything. 120 go into the system. All your prospects receive this script. So they receive the copy, the actual words that you've sent to them. And this is where everyone receives it or opens it. What will happen is that a small proportion of these people will get curious. And curiosity is the leading factor to why meetings are being booked. So what the main mistake I see people make is that they give everything away in the actual outreach. Like, you shouldn't be telling them you do Facebook ads or TikTok ads, or you use this funnel, you use this GoHighLevel automation. They don't care. They just care about the end result. You need to sell the destination, not the journey. Just another little rant I'm having. I'm sorry, but so when people ask for the price, like the prospects say like, hey, what's the price before getting on the call? You do not tell them the price, because you'll lose the leverage to get them on a call if you do that. So that's just another thing to note if you are a beginner in getting into the SMA space or AI space. And you'll get data, obviously, as a feedback loop. So what happens is you'll send 120 messages and something will happen. And by the way, when I mean something will happen, I mean like either you'll get no meetings or you'll get meetings. Or if you don't get meetings, then we need to change something. But at least we know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. For every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. So something's going to happen. It's just whether we need to change something when it does happen. This is what an entire client acquisition system looks like. But within every system, there are subsystems. So for example, this is the one we're going to be comparing today. We've got the one you're currently using, probably. If you haven't started outreach, then this is what most people do and why they fail. And then we're going to be using Agency Start's AI arbitrage system. If you want more information on how you can actually get like every single system I use and how I've scaled my agency to over 10K per month, how I've booked over 500 to 1,000 sales meetings, then I'll leave a link in the description. It'll be the first one. It's mainly for people struggling to sign clients. So book a call, we can speak, and if I can help you, cool. If not, we can go on with our day. But the main point of this video is value, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But this is how most people do Instagram outreach. They find the prospect on Instagram, they click message, they send them the script, prospect receives the script, they get agitation, which is basically once a human has received a piece of copy, which means like the words in the script, some of them will get agitation, which means that they realize, it's the realization that their situation could be better, and they get agitated. And that is why people book calls, because of pain, obviously. And that's why people buy things, because of pain. So the prospect will respond, then you send the message, and then they respond again, you send calendar link. I'm sure you get the point. This is how most people do outreach. It's a link, and this is what a system looks like. Now, this is what a better system looks like using our AI arbitrage system. So you put leads to Google Sheets. You can get a VA to do this. You can get like 100 leads for like literally like $5. If it's Instagram, because it takes like, I'll go into how long it takes, but leads get put into the Google Sheets for you. You then open the software, you click Command S, you literally click one button and it sends 120 DMs or 60 DMs, then you switch account and then another 60 DMs. And then the same thing happens. Agitation, prospect responds, send second message, prospect responds again. But the whole point is that this, okay, I didn't want to move that, but this whole first part can be automated. So what this really does, so your current outreach system, to send 50 messages, it probably equals 1 hour of your time in energy, which is joules. So that's crazy. So to send 50 messages, if you were to sit down and send 50 Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, probably cold emails will take you like 5 times as long, but it will take you 1 hour of your time to send 50 messages. Whereas what I found is a way of sending 120 messages, and it could be more than 120. The only limitation you're going to have from now on is how many accounts you have set up. That's literally the only thing that can hold you back from sending messages now. Not your time, just accounts. Anyway, 120 messages equals 1 minute of your time in energy and joules after watching this video. Crazy. What this means is that we can 2.4 times the input per day. So we can do 2.4 times the amount of messages, which will equal 2.4 times the amount of output, but it could be positive or negative, but ideally that equals more meetings. 2.4 times more meetings than what you would currently be doing. But the best part is we're also using 97.3% less time and effort. This is crazy because we're increasing the input by 2.4 times, but we're decreasing the effort by 97.3%. This information I'm giving you literally won't be told anywhere else on YouTube. No one's giving you this for free. And when I do a walkthrough, you're literally going to be like, holy shit, this guy he's onto something. He's cooking. So I think, is there anything else? So yeah, perfect. Now let's actually do a live walkthrough to show you exactly how it works. And oh boy, this is game changing. And I am so excited to actually share this with you guys. So much value, so much information. But yeah, let's get into it. Here we go. So first things first, step 1 is to download merger.com. And I'm not affiliated with Merger, Jitbit. I'm not affiliated with anything. I don't even have a GoHighLevel affiliate link. I don't put that in the bio or anything. So Mac users download merger.com. And if you don't have a MacBook, just any other Windows, PC, whatever, just use Jitbit. It's literally the same. They're both macro recorders. I'll go over, so when I say listen carefully, but I'll give you an overview how the software works. I'll tell you that now. So they're both macro recorders, which means that it copies your mouse and keyboard movements. Once again, you're still probably confused. So how it works is, let's say you do one outreach. It records the way in which you do one outreach, and then it just repeats it as many times as you want. It's absolutely crazy, and I'm going to go into it in a minute when I actually do a live walkthrough. But it's crazy because it just repeats basically the actions of you doing one task. So step 2, the first thing you kind of need to do is to create command buttons and keyboard shortcuts. If you have a MacBook, then just go to your settings and go to keyboard shortcuts, and you can basically put in like an abbreviation, and it will spill out like the long paragraph basically, or whatever you want to say in your outreach. Step 3 is to open a browser, making sure it's full screen and only one tab open, which will be the Google Sheets. So I did explain that you need did I explain? I don't know. I'm going to explain now. You need a Google Sheets with leads in. You need the first name and the Instagram URL or LinkedIn URL or a Facebook LinkedIn URL. Just whatever platform you are going to send these messages on, all you need is their first name and the actual URL of their profile. And once again, you can get a VA to literally do hundreds of these for a few dollars. So it's great. Step 4, and yeah, just quickly before I go on to step 4, open browser, make sure it's full screen. If you have like other tabs open, so it can mess up. So it's a bit like annoying and confusing at the start, but I promise you it is worth the while. Once you actually do this whole thing, it's going to be like game changing, and you're never actually going to have to send the first Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn message ever again. It's all going to be automated. but just make sure you only have one tab open and it's the same tab you use when you basically do the first one. Now, creating your list on Google Sheets using the way I show you to do it as fast as possible. So if you want to do it yourself and don't want to spend a few dollars, which I don't recommend, but if you do want to do it yourself, let's say you're broke, then go onto Instagram, go to the search bar, search hashtag whatever niche you're in. Same with Facebook. If you're doing Facebook outreach, just go into Facebook groups and find the prospects and basically open like 50 tabs of your prospects and then quickly go like into each tab, copy and paste the URL, copy and paste the URL, and just shut the tabs so you can do it quickly as possible. I found that to be a lot quicker than actually manually opening your Instagram profile, then copying it back. If you just open all the tabs and then do it from there on. Now you've got the actual lead list, and I'm going to do a live walkthrough so you'll know exactly what it looks like in a minute. Then we're going to start the recording and doing the action of one outreach. Once again, watch thoroughly as I use the mouse as little as possible, and I'll explain why. So the reason we do use the mouse as little as possible, or if you're on Mac like I am, I don't have a mouse, I choose the keypad. But you shouldn't be touching that, like barely at all. Like you really shouldn't be touching that. And the reason is that it will mess up the movement. So when you get to play it back, if you put it in a different spot to where you did the first one, it just won't, like the placement will be off and it just won't work. So when I do the live walkthrough, you'll basically see everything. This may seem complex, but I promise you, you literally only have to do this once. And it's insane because if you figure out, and it's going to be a bit confusing, a bit annoying at the start, but if you can just spend a few hours figuring this out, you won't have to do outreach again, and you won't have to get a VA to do outreach again, and you can get really creative and do this with emails, do this with looms in emails, do this with, I've seen some crazy things, and people in my program have done some crazy things with this. Like, the sky's the limit, really. I'm just giving you the source. I'm just giving you the instructions, and you can sort of do what you want with it. One thing to know, if you don't follow these instructions precisely, then it won't work. So step 6 is to actually do this. Now, this may be confusing, but trust me, it's not that many movements. And it'll be pretty straightforward once I do it. Step 7 is to go to Merger and Jitbit and type how many times you want to play back. For example, if you want 30 messages sending, then type 30. Now sit back and watch a personalized outreach for you. So now I'm going to transition to, I'm basically going to cut the video and I'm actually going to be doing live walkthrough. Okay, we've gotten to a point where I'm going to do a live walkthrough now. You should have Merger or Jitbit installed. If you have a MacBook, then you should have Merger. If you don't have a MacBook, then you should have Jitbit. And it should pop up at the bottom here. So when we click on it, this is my screen. Set this to, I recommend doing 25 to 30 messages at a time. This will look really confusing, by the way. Don't worry about all the things. All you need to know that this is how many times you want it to replay the action, and I recommend doing it to 25. So that's like, if you set that to 30, it'll send 30 messages. If you send it to 20, it'll do 20, 60, 60. I'm sure you get the point. Key to start recording and stop recording, set it to Command R, and then key to start and stop playback, Command S. And then you don't really need to worry about that one. It's just, you need a key basically. This is just a shortcut. So click here and click Command R, or key to start, Command S, and set this to 25 or 30. I don't recommend doing more than 25 to 30 though, because it'll just be suspicious. And then lock that in. So then we go back to Google. I've just put some celebrities in a Google Sheets because I didn't really want to message actual people. I thought it'd be annoying, but I'm going to show you how it works. So the cursor, now if you remember, we want to move this as little as possible. So we're going to put this to a certain letter that we can, certain letter that we can remember. I'm going to do G for Google. And then also, let me just go to settings quickly. Keyboard. I want keyboard shortcuts. Because you should have keyboard shortcuts, text, and you should set it so, like, let's say you want the first message to be, you just put H2, and then when you do H2, I want that to be, H2. It can be anything, so just put like an abbreviation and then put what message you want that to be. So I'm going to put hey, name. I'm just going to put, can I ask a question? This is a highly overrated and oversaturated sort of thing at the minute, so I don't recommend actually using this exact first liner, but now when I do H2, it's basically gonna put out a message. So let's actually do the first message. So Command R to start recording.
Recording started.
Okay, hang on,
Recording
wait.
stopped.
I fucked up. I remember, put it on G, or like a letter you'll remember. So when you do it again and you want to play it back, put it on that same letter. And also, let me actually copy this, delete, and put it one lower. And then this looks a bit cleaner. There we go. Now we actually want to put it one. You basically want to put the box one above. So now we go back to G for Google, and then we click Command R.
Recording started.
Then we're not using the mouse to go down to Drake. We are actually going. Oh, I fucked up again.
Recording stopped.
We want the Instagram URL. Same thing. Here we go.
Recording started.
Okay, so we started the recording, and instead of going down with your mouse, you're going to click down arrow on your keyboard. Copy, so Control C. Then you're going to click Control T with your keyboard. Then Control V and paste. What this is going to do is going to paste the profile into the thing. Then we're actually going to go use our mouse now, and we're going to go to the profile. We're going to double click and click Inspect. Go over to this top part, double click this. So the name is actually underneath the name now. We're going to follow, and we're going to message H2 spacebar. It converts it. Then we're going to go back here. We're going to go boom, Control C, and then you go here, and then you just basically replace this with Drake. Send. Then you're going to close the tab, put it back on the G if you remember. Slide it back over to Drake and Command R.
Recording stopped.
To stop recording. Now you've done it. If you can do that, then essentially what this is going to do now is play it back. So I'm not going to touch anything, and you're going to see the actual outreach doing itself. So Command R, actually no, Command S now to play back.
Playback started.
I'm not touching anything. My hands are here. This is crazy. You're going to like this. It's going to be a bit slow because I was explaining it as we go. So if I would have done it quicker like I usually done, it would have done it quicker. But as you can see, I'm not touching anything, and it's literally doing outreach for me now. So the bigger list you have, you can just basically get it to go down that list and go to the gym, go for a walk. I recommend staying in front of the computer. You can just do like other work, or like, I don't recommend going on your phone. If you have an iPhone, it can mess up sometimes, but just stay in front of the computer and watch it basically. So you can go on your phone, just do whatever you want, listen to music, not on the MacBook, but you get the point. I'm not touching anything. It's doing outreach for me. This is crazy. Not many people have found out how to do this for actual Instagram like this. Because of the inspect element, you have to like, it's a bit tricky. It took me like months, like literally months to make this or figure it out. And I'm just giving it to you because I'm a nice guy. So obviously I could let this do for as long as once again, I'm not touching anything. This is literally doing outreach for me. It'll go down the list as long as I want. I put it to 25, so it'll go down the list 25 times until it stops. And it will just stop once it's done 25 times. But as you can see, my hands are here. I'm not touching anything. And what it will do is it will follow them. And so it's going to literally do everything, not touching anything. Hopefully video you're like, this is pretty crazy. So you can imagine like what you can actually do with this now. If you get creative, you can literally not have to do this ever again. Or like Instagram, cold emails you don't have to do. You can get creative with this software and Jitbit. But it's crazy. So as you can see, it would literally just do, I'm not touching anything, it would do like as many as you want. However, I am going to end it now just because you get the point and hopefully you understand how it works. So yeah, just Command
Playback stopped.
Stops the recording. I'm just going to close the tab. And yeah, basically that brings us to the end of the video slightly. If you are struggling to sign clients, then I'll leave a link. It'll be the first link in the description, and we can talk. Hopefully I can help you out. But if you've got a problem, which is booking meetings and not being able to close clients or getting a constant flow of clients and meetings into your business, then let's have a chat. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? But apart from that, like, comment, and subscribe. It took me a long time to figure out how to do this, months, and then also the time and effort I've put into this video. Just a like, comment, and subscribe. It would mean more than you can imagine. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. Peace.